Heyo! So I'm here with another tag video. So this video is going to be about my favorite series arc of 2016. And what I have chosen is issues 6 through 10 of Injection. I think they came out at the beginning of 2016, and this story will be coming back in March. But before I talk about that, I'm gonna attempt to give a review of this book, a full review of this book. But before I get to that, I want to talk about a few runner-ups. So first, I have House of Penance. This was written by Peter J. Tomasi and with art by Ian Bertram and colors by Dave Stewart. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. A lot of psychedelic horror imagery, and a little bit of a love story going on. It's a 6-issue story, and I highly recommend it. Next, here I'll show off 2 more covers of House of Penance. And next I have The Violent, which was written by Ed Bryson and with art by Adam Gorham and colors by Michael Garland. The story of this was it's a 5-issue arc, complete story. And as of now, it's done. They might do a trade or 2 in the future, but it didn't sell enough. So the story was a guy in his early 30s, late 20s, gets out of prison. He was in prison for dealing drugs. He has a wife and a child, maybe a 3-year-old daughter, and he just keeps fucking up. And getting to darker and darker places until it blows up in the final issue. Actually, it keeps blowing up throughout. So then the next 3 runners-up, I might try to do more of an in-depth review in the future because they're ongoing, and basically do a review as advertisements. Spider-Woman, so issue 1 through 5 of this new series, I think it's volume 6. It's written by Dennis Hopeless with art by Javier Rodriguez and various colorists. This guy named Lopez does inks sometimes, and Rachel Rosenberg does colors, and also sometimes Javier Rodriguez does his own colors. Spider-Woman's pregnant. She goes to a space station where they have a hospital, and the hospital's being overtaken by the Skrull army, and she has to save the day, save the whole hospital. There's some amazing, which I'm not going to try to find much of, but there's some amazing, like, fun artwork done by Javier Rodriguez. Some stuff that I would say is extremely innovative. I'm not finding examples at the moment. Oh yeah, Spider-Woman. Oh, this is a very cool page. Spider-Woman kicking ass right after giving birth. Alright, so the next I have maybe this is the last one. She-Wolf. So this is a 4-issue arc. It's going to start back up, I think, in January. It's written, drawn, and colored by Rich Tommaso. very unique in my artwork. Real awkward stuff. It's again kind of a psychedelic horror story. I almost wanted to choose this one as my favorite, but I went with Injection for reasons I'll get into later. And this story, although I love it, it's more maybe of an atmospheric story. Like, what do I mean by that? Or maybe an abstract story. Like, you get bits and pieces, and you're not quite sure what's real, what's not real. And you're just kind of taken into this other. He kind of creates how the world feels as he goes, and it's almost like you're it starts to become almost like you're experiencing this character who's newly finding out that she's a werewolf, her experiences and how she feels, and through that transformation. It's definitely a book about I don't know about definitely, but I think it's a book about transformation. So now, getting into Injection. So I'm going to attempt to do this book justice. So this is the second story arc of I think the whole series is going to be 25 issues. It's written by Warren Ellis. And it has artwork by Declan Shelvey. And it's colored by Jordi Belair. So Declan Shelvey's my favorite artist these days. And Jordi Belair tends to be my favorite colorist. There's a few books that I appreciate her work less on, but I think this book she's fabulous. I'm going to attempt not to spoil things. So the story so far, or to give the story a brief synopsis, there's 5 characters. This guy who's a detective. Yeah, I'm not going to flip through. There's a detective, this guy who's the descendant of magicians from the British Isles. There's a spy. There's a scientist named Maria Kilbride, who's one of my favorite characters these days. And then there's a computer hacker, tech whiz. And those 5 have gotten together and with some sort of authority. I'm not shaky on where they're getting their authority. I think it's a private corporation. They come together and decide that the way that the world is going is not going to be interesting enough. The world's gonna get really stale. So they decide to inject an artificial intelligence into the stream of the world, and that gets into the internet and starts manifesting itself in different ways. It sounds crazy, and it was extremely hard to get on board with the first arc, but the way that it's the entity's beginning to manifest itself is, I think, beautiful, and some really smart stuff by Warren Ellis. So I'm going to show a few pages. So in this arc, centers around our main detective, Vic, or Viv, and there's a financial advisor, or this guy who's into finances, is being haunted by his dead girlfriend, Anyway, I'm not going to talk about the story. I'm finding myself very worried about spoiling things. But it turns out that the injection is obviously behind that and manipulating things, and he's using this guy to learn about finances and to learn about the world and blah blah blah. So I'm going to show a few pages that I marked. I think this page is awesome because of this house layout. It kind of shows it shows a lot to this detective's character. He has this room called a human room in which he keeps all kinds of different things that he has calculated will make the most amount of people at ease. Declan Shelby, I think, does amazing work with action. He captures things that happen in a moment, like in these panels that just, I don't know. I'm not finding words to describe it. And then I wanted to show this page to show a little bit of the crazy tech magic going on. Like, so this is an Arduino, which is it's a tiny computer. I think it costs like $30, which you can put programs on and then get them to run electronics. And so he's got it connected to a car battery and a skull. This is in our magician's workshop. I love this page because it has this, I guess, what do you call that? A brain map, where the detective is connecting the dots, and you see it progress, and so you kind of understand his basically hold your hand through understanding his figuring out of the mystery. Oh yeah, I wanted to show this page and actually just read this moment, because it's a nice summary of the story so far. Maria says to the magician, "We released an alien machine intelligence into the internet, and it's gotten out into the fabric of the world. We need to start cleaning up." Yeah, I guess I've already said that much. Again, Declan Shelby and his action work is it's simple, it's super kinetic, makes you feel the motion. And I also wanted to read part of this. So these guys are getting attacked with a machine gun. And the detective says to his bodyguard, "I'll give you a bonus if you can remove that bastard in 2 shots and an extra night off." Done. How big a bonus? I believe there should be a deduction for being a show-off fucker. I don't know. The dialogue in this book is real sharp too. There's a lot of really smart jokes. All right, and then I think this is the last page I'm going to show, and I'm going to read this one last part because I think it's beautiful and it gives a example of the kinds of ideas that Warren Ellis is getting at. So the financier's saying, I've certainly done things that might be against. So yeah, the detective's accusing the financier of being a criminal. You're obviously a criminal, just a sanctioned one. Would you agree? I've certainly done things that might be against the letter of the law. Capital itself is on the edge of the world. Explain. Capital is the first thing we've created that can change the world every second of every day without being physically real. So anyway, so that's my horrible review of Injection. Again, it starts back up in March of 2017, and I highly recommend it. It has 15 issues left. There's 10 done. I think there's trades out for the first 2 story arcs. And yeah. So I forgot to mention that I was tagged to do this video by ADI Samurai. Thank you for tagging me. It was fun to do. I reread Injection. I also reread She-Wolf. I was going to reread more, but I don't know, felt like doing the video today. And then I also want to say that I want to tag basically the same people that I tagged for my favorite cover video. I want to tag LahRasa, I want to tag 210Xander, and I want to tag Exit Zero Comics. Sorry again to all you 3. Feel free to do or don't do this tag video, or the other one. Basically, do what you feel like. But I would genuinely like to see your favorite story arc of the year, as well as your favorite cover. Anyway, thank you very much, and again, have a great day.